Hey guys, my name is Mozzie, and over the years of playing Rainbow Six Siege, I've come to the realization that you can learn a lot about someone based off of what operator they main. Depending on what character they play frequently, not only can you discern what type of playstyle they like, how they're going to play, but also to some extent, their personality. And so what I wanted to do today is go over these observations. Now obviously, not everyone is going to fit into these cookie cutter descriptions, but I thought this would be a fun video. And so to start us off, we have Thermite mains. I feel like a lot of people who play as him don't really consider Thermite to be their favorite operator in Siege, but they play him because they want to win. They realize that either no one else is going to step up to the plate, or they don't think that anyone else is going to do a very good job of it, and they want to win the round. I love having these kinds of players on my team, even when they're not playing as him specifically, because lo and behold, surprisingly, someone else actually took up the responsibility. You know that they're going to choose another character that is going to complement your team's synergy because they really want to win, which I'm a pretty big fan of. Now, as for recruits, yes, recruit mains, you have a 95% chance that they're going to TK someone in your match. And then on top of that, they're also probably going to try to convince everyone else on your team to play as recruit that game, to rush the objective. They only know one strategy, and it's memes. It's always memes with recruits, nothing else. They're always trying to have a good time, but if that good time doesn't fit in line with what they want to do, there's gonna be some consequences. Now, as for Ashe players, because of course we're gonna talk about you only have two buttons on your keyboard, sprint and forward. Tactics is a foreign word. You use your accuracy, and I can't take this away from you. Many Ashe mains have impeccable accuracy, but you're gonna use the speed of the operator and that small hitbox to your advantage, and you're gonna rush that objective like nothing else matters. You don't care that Rainbow Six Siege is supposed to be a slow, methodical, tactical experience, because at the end of the day, the game actually rewards you for charging on in with an incredible amount of kills. Now, as for Jaeger mains, you can almost guarantee that when they switch on over to offense, they're also going to be playing as Ashe exclusively, but when they are on defense, they are not going to be playing as any other operator. This is their character. They know him like the back of their hand, from the recoil pattern, how to use his gadget properly in the prime locations, how to roam around the map effectively, or just simply anchor on the objective. Like, they know him and have mastered him because they've been playing him since day one. At the same time, though, these same players are also terrified about the upcoming nerfs because this might mean that they actually have to play as another operator. As for Thatcher, you choose him because you want to give everyone around you the sense that you're a team player. You're in it to win it. You're going to do everything in your power to be that supportive role, but in reality, you choose him because you don't want the responsibility of actually playing as a hard breacher and screwing it up. Let's be honest, he is probably one of the easiest operators to play right now. You literally just have to get his EMP in the general vicinity of a gadget and it's gonna take it out. On top of that though, you also fully realize that he is one of the strongest characters in the game right now. That ability to dispatch of almost every single thing on defense is incredibly advantageous. And so while you love the fact that playing as him gives you this sense of superiority because you are trying to be a team player, in reality, it's just basically a comfort pick because you know he's gonna get the job done. Now, there aren't a lot of Amaro mains out there, but the ones that are trying to recreate those YouTube videos where someone flew through a window at the very beginning, got one of the fastest aces humanly possible in Rainbow Six Siege because everyone on defense was completely oblivious. Or they had a lucky success where something like that occurred in one of their matches, and they're trying to recreate that moment every single time they play as her. I gotta admit that I have a soft spot for Amaro mains because I too have tasted the glory that is the Amaro rush, but it's just not happening. People now know what to look out for. She's incredibly vulnerable, and who knows, maybe Amaro mains are gonna have the last laugh eventually. Maybe Ubisoft is going to finally buff her and make it so that she doesn't have to go through like a 10-second animation to finally move when she lands through a window. But until then, you're just gonna have to get really lucky if you do want to find that success. With regard to Buck mains, I have an incredible amount of respect for you because I truly do believe that you are probably some of the best players in Rainbow Six Siege. The mechanical skill required to reel in the recoil of that weapon is just not something that I possess. The fact that you're able to do that reliably and consistently is amazing to me. On top of that though, you also have a lot of map knowledge. You know all the different spots around these maps to be able to open up lines of sight, either below the objective, above the objective, through different soft walls, walls to get a cool different angle that no one's going to be expecting. Like, you really have put in the time when it comes to not only this operator, but the game, and it shows in the form of Buck. Blackbeard mains, on the other hand, don't have my respect. You fully understand that Rainbow Six Siege revolves around the one-shot headshot mechanic, and while his shield doesn't provide much protection, it's enough to allow you to win these engagements. You don't care that he's one of the slimiest, cheesiest operators in the game that really has no business being in Siege to begin with, but you're gonna use him because you want that high KD, you wanna win these engagements where normally you wouldn't have been able to, and that's why you play as him. Now, as for Rook, you might be lazy, but that's okay. You put down your plates, you maybe reinforce a couple of walls, and you're good to go. You want to sit on that objective, anchor, maybe use an ACOG, take people out at long range if they ever do decide to round the corner. That's all right with you. If you did want to play aggressive, you would have been playing as someone like Doc, for example. You might be lazy, but at least you're not selfish. I don't know what it is about Doc players, but you can almost guarantee that at the beginning of a round, if someone spawn peeked, lo and behold, it's going to be a Doc player. Now, I fully understand why this happens. Doc has the best loadout for that kind of playstyle. He can heal himself after a failed attempt, he has 3 armor, so he doesn't really take a lot of damage to begin with, and he has an ACOG, which allows him to see directly into their spawn to line up those headshots, which obviously is going to be advantageous. When we get down to it, he really is the best operator for that playstyle, but at the same time, it would be amazing if mid-round I could make a call out, hey, I need a heal, and actually get a heal. But of course that doesn't happen. He then responds, I'm out of stims, because of course you are. You either got taken out at the beginning because you got spawn peeked, or you used all of them on yourself to heal yourself back up to full. Speaking of comfort picks, and I definitely fit in this category, we have Lesion mains. He is for people who do not want to have to rely on callouts whatsoever. Either they're solo queue or they're just playing with a bunch of friends who are messing around or don't really know how to make great callouts. He is going to be able to watch your back. Even after his most recent nerf, which I think has put him more in line and well balanced with all of the other characters in the game, he is still second to none when you're trying to solo queue because of the amount of information that he can gather with that gadget. And I think it's for that very reason why so many people gravitate towards him. With regard to Yone and Oryx though, I feel like people fit into 2 different categories with them. Either they don't really have a main, which is probably for the best, they're just playing them because they're the new operator, or they're playing them because they are the new operator and they're just wanting a new experience when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege. They've been playing this game for thousands of hours, they've done every strategy and tactic known to man, and they want something new and fresh, so they're playing as these characters. I admit I might kind of fit into that category. I just want something new, and thankfully, Yone and Oryx provides that. Now, as for Twitch, a long time ago, I would have said that the only reason why you play as her isn't because of her gadget. You might say that you use her because of the utility that it brings, being able to take care of bandit batteries and stuff like that, but you know that that wasn't the reason. It really just came down to her weapon. That thing was a monster back in the day, but over the last couple of months, Ubisoft has been slowly chipping away at its influence, and it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. And so to today, I actually feel like a lot of Twitch mains out there have found a happy medium. They're playing her because her weapon is still phenomenal once you understand how to use it properly. Its recoil might be much more substantial, but when you are able to reel it in, it still melts people instantaneously. And also, considering that Thatcher is banned all the time in rank now, you're using her because she does provide a fair amount of utility with her shock drone. I feel like she's finally found that place where she's no longer the flavor of the month operator, where people only play her exclusively for her weapon, and they're using her the way that the developers intended all along. Speaking of flavor of the month though, we have Mozzie. I can almost guarantee that a lot of Mozzie players were actually Lesion mains not too long ago, but ever since Lesion got a nerf, they've now switched over to him because he has almost no weaknesses. He has 2 amazing weapons at his disposal. He can use the super shorty to open up different lines of sight or rotation holes on the objective. He can deny information with his gadget or use it to gather information if he's lucky enough to find a drone, and he can also lay down barbed wire, or if he wants to get a little bit more spicy, use the nitro. He really is the complete operator. A lot of people have gravitated towards him recently because I really do think that he is the flavor of the month, and as soon as he does get that recent nerf, that may no longer be the case. The final operator that we're going to take a look at today is Warden. Now that I think about it, does anyone play as this operator as their main? I feel like the only reason why you would is because of the mustache, which is a good reason. But other than that, he doesn't have much redeeming qualities. That might change with the upcoming Ying adjustments, but I really do believe it's because of that mustache. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. This was meant just to be a fun, silly concept. I realize that not everyone is going to fit these descriptions, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys agree with these descriptions, or if there's an operator in the game that I didn't talk about today because I couldn't get through all of them. There's a ton that gravitates a certain type of playstyle or a certain personality that is reflected in the game itself. Let me know what you guys think down below. But yeah, guys, until next time, have a good one and take it easy.